Yeah, what's going on, guys? What I want to do today is basically go through Draftkings and check out the initial prices for all of next Sunday. To start, what I kind of want to let you guys in on is, if you guys come to my website ever, Hyde&Zeke.com, you'll see I do a weekly article right here called just either Draftkings or FanDuel, whatever it is for the week. Week 6, 2018, and basically all it is my favorite values. Last week, quarterbacks was kind of hit or miss. Had Blake Bortles pretty bad. Jameis Winston was on the money, QB2 behind Patrick Mahomes, but if you don't count that late night slate, he was the QB1. Matt Ryan was solid. Running backs were pretty poor. Receivers were all right. Most new. Tyler Boyd on the money. Julio on the money. Mike Evans, not so much. Basically, what I do in these articles is I go right down the list. I give you a player, Julio, tell you how much he's worth. I give you a little breakdown. Julio can't score touchdowns. Still has 564 yards through 5 games. 11 targets a game. Gets to face Tampa Bay. I'll give you a little projection. 9 catches, 182. He ended up having 10 for 143, so not bad. Basically, I just kind of go through the whole list. Austin Hooper, Cam Brate, David Njoku, Dallas, and Houston. Kind of give you pieces from each position. I tell you a couple different options. I give you the best value or, pay up and who's worth it. So depending on how you want to build your lineup, if you want to spend up on money on quarterback, I give you Matt Ryan. If you want to save money, I give you Jameis Winston. And I kind of just do that so that depending on what your particular strategy is, you can kind of go either way with it. So the first thing I wanted to do is kind of just break down the lineup I gave you guys last week and see how it came out. So what we did, my example lineup this week was Jameis Winston against Atlanta, David Johnson, Chris Carson, Julio, Mike Evans, Kiki Cutie. I want to call him Kute, but it is what it is. Austin Hooper, Tyler Boyd, and Houston defense. And every week, whenever I give you guys these lineups, I actually play these lineups. It wasn't my main slate. It was it was probably my second most used cash game lineup. So just as you can see, it did pretty well. 166.5 points. Jameis scored 36. Julio 27. Austin Hooper 22. That was a big game. 9 for 71 and a touchdown. That was a good call. Tyler Boyd stud. 7 for 62 and 2. Houston defense 20. Obviously it sucks. I lost by 2.5 points, basically to Patty Mahomes and Lat Murray. Julio canceled out Sonny Michel, but it was a solid team. 166.5. I'll take that. I didn't get the volume I thought I was going to get out of Chris Carson, and Mike Evans was kind of a letdown in a matchup where Jameis threw for 395 yards. But the reasoning was all there, and that's kind of what I just want to show you is, this is kind of how I do it. Every week at Hyde&Zeke.com, I'll give you my favorite plays at each position. I'll use my example lineup, and it didn't win this cash game, but I won a couple of cash games with it. As you can see, I only got 55 left. But, I re-up every week, and I take out every week, so I haven't put money in yet. So basically, let's just kick it right off. We got the NBA on tonight finally, so we got some, if I go to lobby, I bet you we got some stuff pushing NBA. Yep, NBA $1 million opening tip-off. I'll definitely be playing that. Check Hyde&Zeke.com for more NBA content too, but that's not what this video is about. What I really want to do is just kind of get into the lineup for next Sunday and see the first couple names that might pop out, and if I'm going to build a lineup right now, what it would look like. Let's just get right into it. Obviously, we're going to just jump into the Millie Maker. $20 entry? $20 entry, yep. Draft team. Alright. Let's see. Overall philosophy when it comes to drafting some of these teams, right now we'll do a cash game lineup. We won't do a tournament. We'll do a tournament. I mean, we're already in the tournament, so let's just talk tournament. Difference between tournament strategy and cash game strategy. In cash, I really want to get some studs. I want to be consistent. I want to play running backs at home, running backs that are favored. I want to get more running backs. Typically, in a tournament, I'll play more wide receivers because they're just more risky. I think a lot of them have better prices. I think a lot of them have higher upside. It's just easier to make contrarian plays. There's 70 usable wide receivers in a week, and there's 25 running backs, maybe 35 running backs. So I think that tournament-wise, my flex spot, tournament leans towards receiver, cash game leans towards running back. I want to save at quarterback most of the time in tournaments, and I always want to stack my quarterback with either my tight end or one of my receivers. Usually quarterback, receiver, but it depends. Normally the first thing I look at is defense, tight end, then quarterback, then I do my running backs and my receivers. I try to see what stands out to me in terms of value at either the defensive or tight end positions, and see if I can save money there, because that's normally if check out Hyde&Zeke.com. We wrote up an article last week that basically showed week 5, 8 out of the top 12 most expensive defenses finished as the bottom 8 teams of the week, and 8 of the least expensive defenses finished as the highest scoring defenses of the week. So, I think that defense is a really good spot to save money. Jacksonville's 3,600 up here, only scoring 6 points a game. If you go all the way down to the bottom, saving 1,500, a team that I'm probably going to use a lot this week is the Jets at home. Playing solid. They're 11 points a game. I like defenses at home. That's one thing you'll notice is I only play defenses at home. I've just seen that they score better. It's more consistent, and that's just how I'm going to play it. So just know that going into it. My favorite 3 plays this week are the Jets at 2,100, Miami up here at 2,500 versus Matt Stafford coming off a bye, and of course the Colts because they're at home, and it looks like Josh Allen might miss this game with that same little elbow injury that Marcus Mariota had to start the season. And you really don't get a better matchup as a defense against better matchup than Nathan Peterman. And if he starts for Buffalo, the Colts might be one of the most highest used defenses. So I think that's a solid route to go if you want to pay a little bit more, is the Colts. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in the Jets. See what we look like. I make a lineup, and then I come back and I just add, if I have extra funds, I'll upgrade positions. That's kind of how I like to do it. Tight end, there's 4 that stuck out to me, just coming from top to bottom. Jordan Reed stuck out to me. Dallas hasn't been phenomenal against the tight end position. I know he's been bad the last 2 weeks. He had 9 targets and he only had 8.6 points, 5 catches for 36, which is not good. But, he keeps getting high targets. He's healthy. And, we know how good Jordan Reed can be. And it's just one of those games where I don't trust Washington's receivers. If I had to bet on an expensive tight end, George Kittle wouldn't be a bad route to go, but I like Jordan Reed as my, more expensive guy. Then I like people in this order, these 3 right here. I like Trey Burton, David Njoku, and O.J. Howard. They only range from 3,600 to 4,300. Trey Burton, he keeps getting in the end zone. He's putting up points. New England can't stop the tight end position. They're going to have to score against New England. They're putting up points against anybody. I like Trey Burton this week. Mitch Trubisky's playing better. You'll see this week, I do like a lot of the Bears. Just because New England, they gave up 40 points last week. Obviously, it's Patrick Mahomes, but that was at home. They don't travel well, their defense at least. Blake Bortles has torn them up, Patrick Mahomes. I like the Bears. I don't like Mitch Trubisky as a quarterback, but fantasy-wise this week, he might be able to get it done. David Njoku was my second most used tight end last week behind Austin Hooper, and he was actually very solid. What did he have? Got in the end zone, and he had 12 targets. So look at this. Look at his last 3 games. 7 targets, 11 targets, and 12 targets. You can't ask for better than that at the tight end position unless it's Zach Ertz. I love seeing these numbers. He's playing against Tampa Bay. That's the same reason I started Austin Hooper last week is because he's against Tampa Bay. I love David Njoku this week. O.J. Howard was that last one that I wanted to talk about. He's kind of the one that you can save some money. He was supposed to be out 2 to 4 weeks with that MCL injury. He ended up coming back right away. He didn't miss any games. Cameron Brate, Jameis Winston's favorite target. You would think that he'd be the go-to guy, but he only had 1 target. O.J. Howard caught all 4 of his targets for 62 yards and a touchdown. Apparently this injury wasn't that big of a deal. And Jameis Winston, he loves throwing the tight end position. Cleveland's had some struggles there this year. And I just like the talent more than anything. At these positions, like at these prices, I like the talent, the price, and the matchup, and the talent. So that's kind of where I'm leaning this week is more talent-based and value instead of pure matchup. But I think for this, we're going to plug in David Njoku at 4,200, and we'll see how that leaves us for the rest of these positions. After here, I like going up to quarterback because, if you look at the top running back, 9,800, Todd Gurley, or top quarterback, 6,600, it basically gives you a better baseline of where you should be spending your money. And when it comes to extra funds, I like to allocate them more towards running back and wide receivers than the quarterback position. Jared Goff, 6,600, the most expensive player this week. I get it. High-powered offense. At San Francisco, kind of not being great on defense. Gave up some dumb plays to Aaron Rodgers late last night, but I'm probably not going to go this route. 14 for 28, 23 completions. I don't love these numbers right here. Look, obviously we've seen how efficient he can be with 26 or 29 completions, but this is just turning in a direction that I don't like right now, and these games have both been on the road. So I'm probably not gonna lean towards Jared Goff. The 3 expensive guys that I think are in play this week are Tom Brady, Carson Wentz, and Cam Newton, all in this 6,000 range, 61, 6,000, 5,000. Look, they're all putting up a relatively the same amount of points. Cam Newton's way ahead, and he's the cheapest. Look what he does. You know what you get from Cam Newton. 24 points, 18 points, 29, 31. He's a great quarterback. He can do it all. He can get it done on the ground. He never has stud receivers, but he puts up points, and he's just consistent. Philadelphia, their weaknesses aren't against the run, not against the tight ends. Their weaknesses are on the outside, which isn't really to Cam's or the Panthers' strengths, but the matchup's still there in a game where it could be high scoring. That's why I like Carson Wentz too. I like both these quarterbacks. Carson Wentz, since he's come back, 24, 25, 24. He's right around that 25 point a game mark. He's completing 24 to 33 passes. That's more like what I like to see. No interceptions. He's going to be clean. He's going to put up points. I kind of leaning towards Carson Wentz at home this week, but let me just check out the value as I go down the list a little bit more. We have 4 people that I like at value. Baker has struggled, but the matchup's still Tampa Bay. So, let's go to his game log so you can see how much he struggled. Fantasy points, 16, 21, 14. He's completing over 20 passes a game, which it's all right, but this is the number that's important, is 46, 43, and 41 attempts in the last 3 games. He has been efficient, but Tampa Bay usually remedies those type of things. Baker Mayfield's in play for me this week. Mitch Trubisky, like I said, the Bears, all in play against this New England Patriots team. They're at home. Trubisky has killed it the last 2 weeks, 46 and 31. Only completing about 20 passes a game, but they're long, 13 and 10. Like, look at the difference, 5, 6, 13, 10. And it's translated to points. I love the emergence of Taylor Gabriel. I love Allen Robinson. Trubisky's definitely in play for me this week. Joe Flacco getting New Orleans is, I think that's kind of a chalk play this week. I think a lot of people will have Joe Flacco at home, so that's not where I'm leaning. But chalk's not always a bad thing. He's 5,400. Great matchup. There's a reason that he's going to be chalk. And the last one that I just want to mention is Sam Darnold. Down here at 4,900. It's great savings against the 28th ranked defense when it comes to against the quarterbacks in Minnesota. He's given you about 19 points a game over the last 2 weeks. But, his quarterback rating has gone up a lot. His average pass attempt is like doubled. He's throwing longer passes. He's throwing more touchdowns. In a game where I don't think they're going to handle anybody because it's Minnesota, I think Sam Darnold can exploit this team through the air because they're harder to exploit on the ground. Just keep it in mind. He's not where I'm leaning, but Sam Darnold is definitely someone that you need to keep in mind this week. If you really need to save money at quarterback, Darnold's not a bad play. But I think I'm going to go back up here. Do I want to stack Cam Newton and Devin Funchess or Carson Wentz and Alshon Jeffrey? Funchess has a great matchup against this banged up, porous Philadelphia pass D. And Cam Newton's probably got the higher. I think I like Carson Wentz. When it's this close, give me the guy at home. I know it's Cam Newton, and this might be a mistake, and this is just the first lineup. It's going to change over the week, but I'm going to start with Carson Wentz. We'll see how our team works out. If I need an extra 100, I'm more than happy to switch out Cam Newton for Carson Wentz. So that's where we're going to go there. Now it's time to get into the running back plays. There's only 2 real studs this week that I'm looking at. Kamara, I don't love his matchup. I don't really know what he's going to do. With Mark Ingram back. I know that he was probably just getting some rest last week, but he's still a stud. But he's not where I'm looking. My 2 studs that I'm looking at, Todd Gurley, you got to pay out for him, but he just ran for 205 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's worth it. He's gonna get you 30 points. Let's just appreciate Todd Gurley for a second. 28, 25, 33, 39. He's gotten 3x his pricing every single week. Every week. He'll get it for you. Zeke is the other one. The other stud that I like is Zeke. Divisional game. It's all about touches for me at running back, and that's what he gets. Just carries. 25, 20, 24. 7 and 12 targets over the last 3 weeks too. Averaging 4 targets a game, averaging 22.5 touches carries a game. 26 to 27 attempts or touches total in a game for Zeke Elliott. He's just too good. I think I'm gonna have Zeke in a lot of places this week. I kind of like Zeke this week. There's a lot of values this week. My favorite running back play of the week so far is right here, Tariq Cohen. You saw what Kareem Hunt just did to the Patriots. You saw what Corey Grant did to the Patriots in Jacksonville. Pass catching backs against the Patriots are chalk. Tariq Cohen, look at him the last 3 weeks. Okay, I guess you're right. Only 10 points against Arizona in a good spot. But look at him the last 2 weeks, 33 and 24. He's averaging 4 and 6 yards to carry on the ground. But this is what we care about. 7 catches, 8 targets, 9 targets, 120 yards and touchdown, 90 yards, no touchdown. But this is what's important. I think that this is not a game where Mitch Trubisky's going to come and just hand the ball to Jordan Howard 40 times a game. I like Tariq Cohen. I like the shiftier, more explosive backs in general. Even on the ground against the Patriots, Tariq Cohen's one of those guys I'm putting in my lineup. I'm going to build a lot of teams around him. He's giving you some savings. He's done. He's in my lineup. We'll build around him. Like I said with running backs, I like touches. So around the same mark, I like Carlos Hyde. He's coming off some bad games, 3 and 9 points, which is pretty gross. But look before that. He's had where's touchdowns? touchdown, 2 touchdowns, and a touchdown. You know, just look at his carries. 22, 16, 23, 22, 17, and 14. This game, they were blown out. He had no chance. This is what scares you, is the passing game where he doesn't get involved. But in a game where they could be ahead against Tampa Bay, and they're not good against the run. What are they against the run? Carlos Hyde. 26 against the run. I think Carlos Hyde could get you 20 touches, and if he has one of his better games, if he gets in the end zone, that's a great place to go. I kind of like the upside of Corey Clement, though. Like I was telling you about this game, I think it's going to be higher scoring. He's a more talented player than Wendell Smallwood. I think that he only got 11 carries last week, but he caught all 3 of his targets and got in the end zone. I think he adds a great element in the passing game for Philadelphia. So Corey Clement is a guy that I want to stick in my lineup, but let me just go over a couple more guys. There's 2 more guys specifically. I like Kerryon Johnson a lot at 4,500. You know, if you look at his game log, his points aren't there, right? It's barely over double digits, but for what he costs you, if it's 4,500 and he gets 12.5, that's not the worst thing. Plus, I think that this is a beatable matchup. He looks better every week. I think that after the bye, the Lions are going to understand that they need to get this guy involved. Matt Stafford's a much better quarterback on play action. When they have a legit run game where, you know, teams have to actually defend against it, I think that Kerryon is a great pick this week. But because I have Carson Wentz, I'm going to stick Corey Clement in there. Again, I might come back if I like the values at wide receiver and change this to Zeke. Or I might put Zeke down here. We'll see. I don't know yet. I'm doing this with you guys for the first time. But I want to go back to running back. I want to show you one more guy I like. And that is the ageless wonder in Frank Gore. 15 carries for 101 yards and a touchdown. You know, in a game where he's playing Detroit at home, the 29th ranked run defense, at 3,800, if you need savings, Frank Gore is as solid as it gets. I just wanted to show you guys one more value pick if that's kind of where you're at. You really like the wide receivers. You really want to spend up on Todd Gurley. Maybe you pair him with Frank Gore. I don't think that's a bad play at all. So let's get into receivers, right? So we have to start 3 receivers and a flex. Right now, so this is kind of how my lineups usually go, is I kind of have a high average number for remaining player at this point because I start to spend up on wide receiver. The 3 main studs that I'm looking at this week are the Vikings receivers in Diggs and Thielen and Jarvis Landry. As you can see, 30th against the pass, 30th against the pass, 31st against the pass. Adam Thielen is a straight baller. He's priced up accordingly, by far the most expensive player this week. But look what he does. 19, 34, 27, 30, 27, 32. Look at his targets. What's the one thing you see? Double digits everywhere. 19 targets, 15 targets, over 100 yards every game. And what does he have? 4 touchdowns? Adam Thielen is an absolute monster, and I think that, you know, he leads the league in yards. He leads the league in catches. The thing is, I have this weird feeling that this is a Diggs game because, first of all, Diggs is no slouch. He's much less consistent, but look at his big games. 38, 26, 21. Last week he was down, but he saw more Patrick Peterson than Thielen did. So that's kind of where I think it's at. So me saving $1,400 to potentially be a contrarian, because I think Thielen's going to be owned a lot more than Stephon Diggs. I think that I want to start my lineup with Stephon Diggs. Get one of those studs in there. Some of the middle of the pack wide receivers that I like a lot, the St. Louis wide receivers. That is Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods at the same price, and Cooper Kupp all the way down here to 6,200. Devontae Adams, you saw him torch San Francisco last night. There's not much else to say. I think they're still underpriced. Pick your favorite. How did Cooks do yesterday? Not great, but he got 6 targets. Basically, I kind of want to know about his snap count, which I don't really see. But if he got 6 targets, he was probably in the game plenty. So I want to lean Robert Woods because he's been the most consistent. And he's the healthiest out of 3. Another 10 targets, 7 for 109. No touchdowns, but look at his yards the last 4 games, or last 5 games. 81, 104, 101, 92, 109. I'm leaning Robert Woods out of the 3. Cooper Kupp, you get a big savings, but he's definitely the most questionable injury-wise. So that's what I want to say about St. Louis receivers. I might be having some of them. We'll see. Let's go to a couple other guys in the same price range that I like. Julian Edelman, he's back. Tom Brady's favorite receiver, his security blanket, his Bubba, his Binky. We got Julian Edelman. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm a huge Patriots fan, and Julian Edelman is my least favorite Patriot. People outside New England might not understand it. Everyone loves this guy, not me. Very inconsistent hands, but all that matters is that he's averaging 8 targets a game already, 50-something yards a game, and a touchdown last week. I think that he gets more involved this week in Chicago, who can get to the pass rush quick, and whenever Tom Brady is under pressure quick, he likes to get the ball out quick, and that's normally Julian Edelman, James White type game. I'm going to plug Julian Edelman into the lineup. Average salary is right around $7,000. So let's see if I can fit Zeke into flex and get maybe a cheap wide receiver or 2 of these wide receivers. Some other guys I like around this position are, like I said, I like Landry against Tampa Bay, right? There's not much else to say. He hasn't been crazy effective lately the last couple weeks. 3 points, 11, 13. But Baker's played bad. Still got 9 targets. Wow, 2 for 9. That's awful. I'm probably not going to go Jarvis this week. That's what that told me. I'm staying away from Houston wide receivers, at least the top 2, and Hopkins and Fuller. I'm going to get a lot of Jalen Ramsey and AJ Bouye. So Cuties in consideration against that nickel corner, but against these 2, I'm going to stay away. Alshon Jeffrey, wow, I really kind of want to stack Alshon with Carson Wentz, but that only leaves me 7,800. We're going to keep him out for a second, but that's where I really want to go. Alshon's been a beast since he came back. Targets, 9 targets, 8 targets, 12 targets. Target monster, 27, 5. He looks like he's better on the road. But I think this was just more of an Xavier Rhodes factor right here because he's still got 8 targets. I really want to go Alshon this week. That's probably where I'm going to go. We'll see. I like Kenny Golladay because he's just a stud and he's priced too cheaply. I like Devin Funchess for all the reasons I was saying with Cam Newton about how when you want to attack this Philadelphia team, it's on the outside with wide receivers. Devin Funchess, he's been getting it done too. Look, 13, 16, 11, 18. That's not what I said. 14, 16, 9, 18. Averaging right about, 8 targets a game. Over between 50 to 80 yards. Scores every other week. I like Devin Funchess in this matchup a lot. That's 5,300. That's a really good price for him too. What would that bring you to? And if I plugged in Funchess, 8,800, I get up to Thielen. Wow, very interesting. All right, let's keep going though. Taylor Gabriel, this is where I really liked it this week. The last 2 weeks, Gabriel, 104, 110 yards, 2 touchdowns. This dude has been a big play monster for Mitch Trubisky in the last couple weeks. Patriots, you saw them try to defend Tyreek Hill. It wasn't working. I love Taylor Gabriel. A little bit less than Tariq Cohen, but give me the 2 big play guys from Chicago. We're trying to hit home runs here. And that being said, I love Godwin and Goodwin as two of the other guys in this range that are kind of consistent, but they can also have that home run upside. 16, 17, 4, and 17. The targets are actually up. It's kind of inconsistent. This is kind of an outlier because Chicago game they kind of just got smacked. But first game with Jameis, he looks the way 9 times. He got in the end zone. That's really important to me. I think in a very beatable matchup against Cleveland, I think that Cleveland's going to put Denzel Ward on Evans, and you saw what happened when Tyrell Williams was covered by the number 2 or 3. I think Godwin could have another big game. Marquise Goodwin, you just can't stay in front of the guy. He blew up last night. 4 for 126 and 2 touchdowns. It's a tournament. You don't get better talent at 4,600 than Marquise Goodwin. If you want to hit a home run cheaply, I don't know many other places to go than that. That's a great place. And then my 2 biggest high risk, high reward guys are Antonio Callaway, because he cannot do anything but look at the targets. 11, 9, 5, and 10. He's getting an opportunity. He's against Tampa. He's one of the fastest players in the league. Antonio Callaway, I don't want to keep talking about him because he keeps letting me down, but just know that he has every opportunity to get there. Last one I want to talk about is that same matchup with the Carolina Panthers and Philadelphia Eagles, because Philadelphia has some struggles against wide receivers. So rookie DJ Moore is now on my radar. He's super inconsistent. He doesn't get a ton of targets, and he fumbled 2 times last game, which kind of hurt. But he got the ball at the end of the game, so they trust this guy. This is tournament. This is where you go for guys like this that could either be studs or duds, and that's what DJ Moore can be. Wow, what I really liked was Taylor Gabriel. Honestly, I like Taylor Gabriel a lot. And that's super interesting because that gives me, if I drop Carson Wentz down to Cam Newton, I can now I thought Todd Gurley was 9,500. Never mind. I'm going to go back to Carson Wentz. I'm going to put, instead of Taylor Gabriel, or instead of Edelman, I'm going to put Alshon. And now I'm 100 away. Do I want to do Cam Gurley? So Cam Newton, Tariq Cohen, Corey Clement, Stephon Diggs, Alshon Jeffrey, Taylor Gabriel, David Njoku, Todd Gurley, and Jets defense. I really like that lineup. Let me just check one thing, guys. Here, that's probably what we're going to go with, right? Cam, Cohen, Clement, Diggs, Jeffrey, Gabriel, Njoku, Gurley, Jets. Let me see if I went back. If I took out Gurley, a couple other guys I really like in this spot would be someone like Edelman. And then where do I want to upgrade? I would want to stack Funches with Cam, and then let's go back to Clement. What if I upgraded? So I want to stack Funches with Clement. 9,200 a flex. It's kind of a weird spot because it doesn't get me up to Gurley. Gets him to Thielen, but that's not a huge deal for me. Let me keep Edelman there. I want to keep Alshon. Bear with me, guys. This is real time. Just like I said, we're going to do this at the same time together. I just want to see other stuff that could work. And all I changed right here I got Gurley back. It just happens. Instead of Carson Wentz and Taylor Gabriel, I have Cam Newton and Funches. and I just replaced Diggs with Edelman. So Diggs dropped to Edelman, Gabriel went up to Funchess, and Cam was replacing Carson Wentz. Do I like that more? Alshon, Funchess, Newton, Edelman. No, I'm going to go back to my original lineup, guys. Yeah, I'm going to go back to quarterback, Carson Wentz. Wide receiver here, I don't know. One of them was Taylor Gabriel. That must mean that I had Diggs. How am I losing 100? How am I missing 100? Huh. Well, I'll replay the tape, but instead of Taylor Gabriel, we're going to go with Godwin because, hey, same position, same spot. I can't see real quick what I did differently, but this is the team we're going to go with. We're going to go with Carson Wentz, Tariq Cohen, Corey Clement, Chris Godwin, Alshon Jeffrey, Stephon Diggs, David Njoku, Todd Gurley, and the Jets. I'll review the tape. We'll see if I like the other one better. But if not, this is the lineup, guys. I'm going to come out with my lineup in about usually Thursday nights for the entire slate. And it always gives the chance, like, hey, if there's an injury, this is who we should switch. So always monitor it. Draftkings all the way up to Sunday. But for these articles right here, we always have the weekly matchups on the side. We have our rankings, quarterback, running back, receiver, tight end, everything. Check out my article this week. It's really going to be what helps you figure out who to play and how to build a lineup, not just like using the chalk guys that I used, but kind of, not chalk, but using the exact same guys that I gave you. I'll give you a bunch of names, and you can kind of mix and match with guys you like that I don't like. It just gives you options. You really want to be reading this article every week. Follow me on Twitter at Hyde&Zeke, and I'll be posting them there, so you can kind of tell right when it comes out. Or just tweet me, be like, hey Cody, do I play Jameis Winston? And I'd tell you probably. I don't know. But that's gonna be it for this week. Let me know how you guys do on DraftKings this week. I'll post my article on Thursday. It'll give you my example team, and we're going to play it together. Let's sweat our lineups together this Sunday. Tweet me your teams, and visit the site, hyde&zeke.com. Thanks, guys. Peace.